If you have $10,000 right now, your next decision can either accelerate your future or quietly destroy it. Most people hear $10,000 and think, where should I invest it? But that question is usually asked by someone who is about to make the most common mistake in personal finance. They try to optimize returns before they've eliminated ruin. And ruin is not dramatic. Ruin is ordinary. It's the car repair that forces you to sell at the bottom. It's the job loss that turns investing into panic. It's the medical bill that makes your portfolio irrelevant. It's the one hot trade that feels smart until it isn't. So today I'll tell you what I would do first before investing using a Soros-style framework. Fallibility. You will be wrong sometimes. Reflexivity. Your beliefs change your behavior, and your behavior changes your outcomes. Optionality. The most valuable asset is the ability to choose, not the need to guess correctly. And stay until the end, because I'll give you the 10K protocol, a simple step-by-step checklist that turns $10,000 into a stable platform for wealth, not a lottery ticket. Welcome back to the podcast. Today's episode is, if you have $10,000, do this first before investing. Quick note, this is educational content, not financial advice. Also, this is a Soros-inspired way of thinking, scenario-based, risk-first, and focused on building systems that survive uncertainty. Now, why does this topic matter? Because $10,000 is one of those amounts that feels big enough to change your life, but small enough that one mistake can wipe out years of progress. And in this stage of life, the biggest danger isn't missing a 20% return. The biggest danger is building a fragile plan that breaks the first time reality touches it. So we're going to build a plan that survives reality. If you invest $10,000 perfectly and earn 10% in a year, you make $1,000. Nice. But if you invest $10,000 and then one surprise forces you to sell at a bad time, or take on expensive debt, or panic into a bad decision, you can lose far more than $1,000. That's why the best first move is not which stock, it's which structure. The structure determines whether you can stay calm long enough for compounding to work. And this is the Soros lesson in one sentence. You don't build wealth by being right once. You build wealth by not being destroyed when you're wrong. Here's the roadmap for this episode. Why investing your $10 immediately is often the wrong first move. The concept of financial fragility and how it secretly steals your returns. The 10K protocol. The step-by-step order of operations. 3 real-life scenarios. The stable income person, the unstable income person, the person with debt. The biggest traps people fall into with $10. A simple ending, how to invest after you've done the first steps. This will be practical. You'll know exactly what to do. Before we get into the protocol, I want to set up a quick test. Later in this episode, I'll give you a 5-question checklist. And depending on your answers, your first move with $10 could be completely different. Because $10 doesn't have one correct strategy. It has one correct principle. Your first move is the one that increases optionality and reduces the probability of ruin. And that depends on your situation. Alright, in part 2, we start with the core idea. Why investing first is usually backwards, and why professionals think in an order. Stability, resilience, then compounding. Let's go. Let's start with a statement that will offend the internet. If you have $10,000 and your first thought is, what should I invest in? You may already be thinking like a gambler, not an investor. Not because investing is bad, investing is essential, but because the order matters. In the early stages, your wealth is not built by returns. It is built by survivability and consistency. And survivability is not a motivational quote. It's a structural design problem. Most people treat $10 like a mini portfolio, but your first 10K has a more important job. It is your personal insurance policy against forced bad decisions, because forced decisions are what destroy compounding. If you don't have a buffer, then life controls you. A sudden expense becomes debt. Debt becomes stress. Stress becomes short-term thinking. Short-term thinking becomes bad investing. This is the trap. So the correct question is, how do I make this 10K increase my optionality? Optionality means the ability to wait, the ability to say no, the ability to handle shocks without panic, the ability to invest with a long time horizon. That is the real purpose of your first $10. Now we define the enemy. Fragility is when small shocks cause big damage. In a fragile life, one emergency wipes out savings, one job disruption creates debt, one market drawdown triggers panic selling, one unexpected bill forces you to liquidate at the worst time. Fragility turns investing into a nervous system problem. People say, I'm not good at investing. Often they are not bad at investing. They are investing while fragile. Fragility is an invisible tax because it doesn't show up in your brokerage account. It shows up in late fees, high interest debt, missed opportunities, selling at the bottom, stress decisions word. And that can cost more than any bad stock pick. Investor A invests 10K and earns 10%. Investor B invests 10K and earns 10%. Same return, same market. Then a car repair happens. Investor A has no buffer, so they put it on a credit card at high interest where they sell investments immediately. Investor B has a buffer, pays it, and stays invested. A year later, Investor A's 10% return has been consumed by interest and forced selling. Investor B's return compounded. So it's not the investment, it's the structure around the investment. This is why the first 10K should build the structure first. Now the Soros concept that applies perfectly to personal finance. Reflexivity. Belief changes behavior. Behavior changes outcomes. Outcomes reinforce belief. If you invest 10K without a buffer, you are more likely to believe, I can't handle volatility. Markets are scary. I always lose money. I need something safer. I need to get it back quickly. Then you behave accordingly. You check prices too often. You panic sell. You chase the next hot asset. You gamble to recover. That behavior produces poor outcomes. Those outcomes reinforce your belief that investing doesn't work. That is reflexivity. And it's a prism. But if you build stability first, your beliefs change. I don't need this money tomorrow. I can wait. I can stay invested. Then your behavior improves. Your outcomes improve. Your confidence becomes earned, not imagined. That is reflexivity working for you. There's another psychological trap. People overfocus on returns because returns feel like a shortcut. It's seductive to think, if I just find the right investment, I can speed this up. But in early stages, the real speed comes from increasing income, protecting your gap, building buffers, and avoiding high-interest debt. A 10% return on 10K is $1,000. But avoiding a credit card spiral, or increasing your savings rate, or preventing panic selling can be worth far more. So the correct goal is not maximize return. The goal is maximize the probability that you keep investing consistently for the next 10 years. That's where life-changing wealth actually comes from. So here's the professional order of operations. Before you invest, you pass 3 gates. Gate 1. You can handle a shock without debt. If a surprise expense forces debt, you are investing on unstable ground. Gate 2. You have a clear monthly gap. If you don't know how much you can save monthly, you have no engine feeding the portfolio. Gate 3. You have emotional stability. If you panic at volatility, your strategy needs buffers and guardrails. These gates don't delay investing forever. They protect investing from self-destruction. This is why I said the order is stability, resilience, compounding. Now we're ready for the practical part. In part 3, I'll give you the 10K protocol, a clear step-by-step plan for what to do first, second, third, and only then. Invest. We'll also run the 5-question test that chooses the right version of the protocol for your situation. Because a good strategy is not the smartest strategy. A good strategy is the one you can actually follow. Now we do what the internet refuses to do. We put your $10,000 into an order of operations. Not because I want to sound disciplined, because the order reduces ruin. And if you want to build wealth, you don't start with, how do I win big? You start with, how do I avoid being destroyed? This is the 10K protocol. But first, here's the 5-question test that decides which version you should use. Answer these 5 questions honestly. Q1. If you lost your income tomorrow, could you survive 30 days without debt? Yes, no. Q2. Do you have high interest debt? Credit cards, payday loans, anything expensive? Yes, no. Q3. Do you have an emergency fund already? At least 1 month of essential expenses? Yes, no. Q4. Is your income stable? Stable salary, unstable, freelance commission, variable. Q5. If your investments drop 20% next month, would you panic? Calm. I'd panic. Now here's the rule. If you answered no to Q1 or Q3, you prioritize stability first. If you answered yes to Q2, you prioritize debt attack first. If you answered unstable to Q4, you prioritize a bigger buffer first. If you answered, I'd panic to Q5, you invest only after building buffers and guardrails. This is not morality. This is engineering. Now let's build the protocol. The protocol has 4 stages. Stabilize, eliminate expensive fragility, build your investing runway. Then invest with a structure you can survive. Stage 1, stabilize, the first move for most people. Your first job is to make sure life can't force you into bad decisions. Target 1 month of essential expenses in a safe, liquid place. Not because it makes you rich, because it prevents a small shock from turning into high-interest debt. If your essentials are $2,000 per month, your first stability target is $2,000. If your essentials are $1,000 a month, your target is $1,000. This is your do not panic fund. Stage 2, eliminate expensive fragility, high-interest debt. If you have credit card debt at high interest, paying it down is often the highest guaranteed return you can get. Not because you love being conservative, but because high-interest debt is the opposite of compounding. It compounds against you. So the rule is simple. If the debt is expensive, kill it before you chase returns. Stage 3, build your investing runway, buffer plus consistency. Once you're stable and not drowning in expensive debt, build your runway. If income is stable, aim for 1 to 3 months buffer over time. If income is unstable, aim for 3 to 6 months buffer over time. You don't need all of it from the $10, but you need enough that market volatility doesn't trigger panic. Stage 4, invest, simple, diversified, survivable. Only now do you invest, but not with hero trades. With a structure designed to survive, diversification automation, long-time horizon, no leverage, no all-in bets. Because the goal is not to be brilliant. The goal is to stay in the game. Now I'll translate the protocol into 3 common real-life situations. Version A, you have no emergency fund, most common. Goal, stability first. A typical approach is, put enough of the $10K into emergency cash to cover 1 month of essentials. If you have debt, allocate a portion to reduce it. Keep some aside as a mini buffer. Then invest the remainder gradually, not all at once if it makes you nervous. Why? Because this version reduces panic risk and prevents forced selling. Version B, you have high interest debt. Goal, stop negative compounding. If you have expensive debt, you typically allocate a large part of the $10 to reduce it. Because paying off debt is a risk-free improvement to your financial system. Then you build at least a small emergency fund, even if it's modest. Then you invest later, when you're not leaking money. Version C. Your income is unstable, freelance commission. Goal, bigger runway. This is where many people sabotage themselves by investing too early. If your income is unstable, volatility is already in your life. So your first $10K should buy stability. Build 2 to 3 months of essentials as a starting target, then invest from future monthly gaps, not from your entire lump sum. This prevents the nightmare scenario. Income drops, plus market drops, you sell at the bottom. Now let me explain this like a professional. Your first $10 is not meant to maximize return. It is meant to maximize optionality. Once you have optionality, you can take risk intelligently, invest consistently, build skills, change jobs, negotiate better, start a side project. Optionality turns risk from desperation into strategy, and strategy is where wealth is built. In part 4, we'll cover the biggest traps people fall into with $10K, especially the all-in trap. How to invest after you've built stability and a simple 30 to 60, 90-day plan that makes progress inevitable. Because most people don't lose money from ignorance. They lose it from impulse. We're going to design a system that doesn't require perfect discipline. Now we deal with the part that destroys people, not lack of knowledge, impulse. Most people don't lose money because they're stupid. They lose money because they become fragile, then emotional, then reactive. So in this part we'll cover the biggest traps with $10. The simplest after protocol, investing structure, a 30 to 60, 90-day plan that makes progress inevitable. Let's begin with the traps. Trap 1, the all-in fantasy. You invest the entire $10K in one moment, one asset, one idea. Then volatility hits and your nervous system collapses. The problem is not that you were wrong. The problem is that you built a structure that cannot survive being wrong. Fix, build buffers first, then invest with a method you can emotionally tolerate. Trap 2. The hot story trap. People don't buy assets, they buy narratives. A narrative can feel like certainty until the regime changes. This is reflexivity. Belief drives prices, rising prices reinforce belief, then reality breaks it. Fix. Avoid concentration early. You can't afford a big drawdown psychologically. Trap 3. The leverage trap. Leverage turns volatility into ruin. You don't need leverage at 10K, you need survival and consistency. Fix. No margin, no leverage products, no forced liquidation risk. Trap 4. The I need this money soon trap. If you'll need the money in 6 to 12 months, investing it aggressively is a mistake. Short-term needs plus market volatility equals forced selling. Fix. Match the time horizon to the asset. Trap 5. The over-optimization trap. You spend weeks researching tiny details. Which fund is cheaper, which entry point is perfect, which strategy is optimal. Meanwhile, the real lever, your monthly gap, is ignored. Fix. Keep investing simple and redirect energy to income and savings rate. Trap 6. The stop tracking trap. You do the right thing for 1 month, then drift. Without tracking, your spending expands and your gap disappears. Fix. A weekly scoreboard. Income, spending, gap, savings. Consistency is the real alpha. Now we answer the question you came for properly. How do you invest after you've built stability? The answer depends on your time horizon and emotional tolerance, but the structure is simple. Principle 1. Invest in a way that keeps you invested. The best strategy is the one you won't abandon during stress. Principle 2. Start diversified. Diversification is not for maximizing gains. It is for minimizing catastrophic mistakes. Principle 3. Automate contributions. Automation beats motivation. You don't build wealth by getting it right once. You build wealth by being consistent for years. Let me make it clear. I'm not here to recommend specific products or tickers. I'm here to give you the behavior that works across regimes. Put the emergency buffer in a safe, liquid place. Invest the rest gradually if you're nervous so you don't panic on day one. Keep investing monthly from your gap. Avoid leverage and concentration. Rebalance calmly. Don't chase what just went up. This is how you win as a normal person. You win by refusing to self-destruct. If you're emotionally calm and truly long-term, investing sooner can be fine. But if investing the full amount at once would make you panic, then the better strategy is the one you can survive. Phased investing, spreading entries over time. Because the worst outcome is not less optimal return. The worst outcome is panic selling. So don't ask, what's mathematically best? Ask, what keeps me consistent? That's the professional mindset. Now we execute. Days 1 to 30. Stabilize capture. Create the 3-account system. Bills, spending, wealth. Build at least 1 month of essential buffer. Automate a transfer on payday, even small. Track the 4 numbers weekly. Goal by day 30. You are no longer fragile to small shocks. Days 31 to 60. Eliminate negative compounding. If you have expensive debt, attack it. Reduce one major fixed cost if possible. Build a small additional buffer, even modest. Goal by day 60. Your monthly gap is stable, and you've reduced the forces that erase it. Days 61 to 90. Start compounding plus increase input. Begin consistent investing from your gap. Invest in one income lever, skill sprint, negotiation side offer. Increase automated contributions slightly. Goal by day 90. Your system is running without relying on motivation. That's the point. Let me say something that sounds harsh, but is useful. People often treat 10K like it should solve their life. It won't. 10K is not a solution. It's a tool. It becomes powerful only when your gap feeds it, your system protects it, and you stay consistent long enough for compounding to matter. So the goal is not to invest $10. The goal is to build the machine that keeps producing 10K again and again. That's the real wealth strategy. In part 5 final, I'll give you a 1-page checklist. You can screenshot 3 case examples with numbers and the closing message. How to think like a reflexive investor without becoming obsessed. Because money isn't just math. Money is behavior under uncertainty. Now we finish with something useful. No more philosophy, no more theory. You're going to leave with a 1-page checklist you can screenshot, 3 real-world examples with numbers, a closing framework so you don't become obsessed with perfect investing. because your goal isn't to be clever. Your goal is to build a system that survives you. Here it is, simple and strict. The 10K protocol, order of operations. Step 0, define your essentials. Essential monthly expenses, utilities, transport, plus minimum debt payments. Write the number, E equals or a month. Step 1, build stability. Cash, first gate. Target 1 month of E in safe, liquid cash. If you already have this, go to step 2. If not, allocate from the 10K until you do. Step 2, kill high interest debt, second gate. If you have expensive debt, pay it down aggressively. If debt is low interest and manageable, continue. Depends on your situation. Step 3, create the capture system. 3 accounts. Bills, spending, wealth automation. On payday, wealth gets paid first, even small. Step 4, build a runway, third gate. If income is stable, aim for 1 to 3 months E over time. If income is unstable, aim for 3 to 6 months E over time. The goal is not perfection, just enough runway to prevent panic. Step 5, invest what's left, survivable, diversified, no leverage, no all-in bet. If nervous, phase in gradually instead of lump sum. Step 6, feed the system. Monthly. The real wealth engine is your monthly gap. Increase income plus protect fixed costs plus automate contributions. The do not do list. Print this in your mind. Don't invest money you'll need soon. Don't use leverage. Don't chase hot narratives with your whole $10. Don't wait for perfect timing. Don't stop tracking your gap. That is the protocol. Now let's make it real with examples. These are not prescriptions, these are patterns. Case 1, stable job, no debt, no emergency fund. Profile, income stable, no high interest debt. Emergency fund equals 0 essentials. E equals $2,000 per month. Cash available equals $10,000. Protocol move, step 1, put $2,000 into stability cash, 1 month E. Step 3, set up automation, wealth transfer on payday. Step 5, invest the remaining $8,000, lump sum or phased in if nervous. Step 6, keep adding monthly from the gap. Why this works. Now a car repair doesn't force credit card debt or panic selling. Case 2, high interest credit card debt. Profile, credit card debt at high interest. Essentials E equals $1,500 a month. Cash $10,000. Emergency fund equals small or none. Protocol move, typical structure. Step 1, keep $500 of stability cash. Step 2, put a large portion of the rest into paying down the high-interest debt. Step 3, automation to prevent reaccumulating debt. Step 5, invest later, once the leak is fixed. Why this works. You stop negative compounding. You remove the most expensive force in your financial system. Case 3, unstable income, freelance commission, nervous about volatility. Profile, income varies. Essentials E equals $2,500 a month, cash is $10,000. Panic risk if portfolio drops. Protocol move. Step 1, Step 4. Build a larger runway first. Put $5,000 into $7,500 toward buffer runway. 2 to 3 months E as a starting point. Step 3, automation, even if contributions are smaller. Step 5, invest the remaining gradually and focus on building monthly gap consistency. Why this works. It prevents the worst combination. Income drops, plus markets drop, plus forced selling. This is professional thinking. You match the plan to your fragility. Let me leave you with a final lesson. People turn investing into identity. I'm a stock picker. I'm a crypto person. I'm a real estate person. That is dangerous, because when identity is attached, you stop adapting. Soros-style thinking says you're fallible. Regimes change. Your model can break. So your goal is not to be loyal to an asset. Your goal is to be loyal to survival and optionality. And your first $10 is the beginning of that. So if you have $10,000, do this first, before investing. Build a 1-month stability fund. Kill high-interest debt. Automate savings so the system feeds itself. Build runway based on your income stability. Then invest in a way you can survive. Because investing is not a math problem. It's behavior under uncertainty. And wealth is built by the person who can stay consistent when they are bored and stay calm when they are afraid.